Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Paragon and the Rise of the Rogue Huntress. As always, I am D, and today we'll be taking a look at Sparrow. Now, Sparrow is a carry in this game. She's a ranged carry, as you can probably tell by the fact that she's got a bow and arrow. But she is one of the hardest carries in the game. Why do I say that? Well, it's because of her abilities. Sparrow's abilities are all based around damage. She has 0 mobility skills in the entire game. So don't overcommit or you will die. Sparrow is very squishy, of course, because again, carry. Now, I'll show you her regular skin in just a second. This is just the one I like to run with, because I got it out of a loot crate, or a chest. You can buy loot crates in this game, but it's all cosmetics, or boosts. Epic did the right thing with loot crates in this game. Anyway, let's take a look at her abilities, and there's something you'll notice about the way the abilities, we talk about the abilities now. Let me show you. First off, her left click bow shot, her basic attack. It shows you an actual video of what it looks like. Like I said, just starting at level 1, just does 50 damage, which actually is a pretty decent amount. And this is going to be your bread and butter. You do have to aim quite a bit with her, because Sparrow's shots have a relatively small hitbox, but then again, it's an arrow. Anyway, her right click piercing shot is an interesting one. It's a charge skill. You charge up to 1 second and have a long range snipe shot that also pierces. It says travel through both enemies and the world, so you can actually shoot through you can technically shoot through terrain with piercing shot, although you really need to have somebody with vision so you can get at least a silhouette. And the range is it's not global, of course, but it's a pretty strong range to begin with. I like picking up piercing shot second, usually. Although, depending on how the game is going, I might pick up the next one second, namely Hail of Arrows. It's just a good standard raining arrows skill over 4 seconds. For Q, this is good for farming and also for catching fleeing enemies that are low on health. It doesn't do a huge amount of damage, but it can kill people. Hail of Arrows can kill people pretty easily. Next up, her E. Well, actually, first off, Hail of Arrows I take second or third, depending on how the game is going and whether or not I think I need piercing shot first or not. But the next one is a passive skill, and it's the one I pick up first. Relentless. Like I said, successive hits within 5 seconds on the same target deals extra bow shot damage. It stacks up to 5 times and is triggered by any damage Sparrow causes. That last line, any damage Sparrow causes, is why you want to pick up Relentless first. Because with Relentless, piercing shot, Hail of Arrows, and her ultimate all stack damage, along with her regular bow shot. So you can actually get Sparrow doing some pretty good damage. It only stacks 5 times, of course, but that damage goes up per level. So like I said, I pick up Relentless at level 1, and I max it first. I usually alternate between Relentless, Piercing Shot, and Hail of Arrows, going back and forth. This is where things are going to get a little weird, because her ultimate, Inner Fire, I'm going to talk about in just a second. Let's look at the little video real quick. What it does, turns the bow sideways and fires off 3 separate arrows at a time. Every bow shot fires a triangle of 3 piercing arrows for the next 4 seconds. Side arrows deal half of bow shot damage, increased with each level of the ability. This is going to sound weird, but I'm actually going to be an advocate for picking up Inner Fire later. Not at 5. So I tend to avoid picking this up. I max Inner Fire as late as I can, because especially with the deck I'm going to show you guys for Sparrow, it's just not all that great for an ultimate for her, I think. They could have done more with her, but it's not a bad ultimate, don't get me wrong. It's a very good ability, but the way I play Sparrow, it just doesn't fit with my playstyle very often. Like I said, let's show you her regular skin just so you can have an idea what it looks like. This is regular Sparrow. Very similar, but I just like the Rogue Huntress, especially the jungle Rogue Huntress that I got. Alright, I'll see you guys in just a moment with the deck we're going to be using for Sparrow. Don't go anywhere. And we're back. Alright folks, this is the deck. This is a slightly modified version of the same deck I showed you with Revenant. This is the Ranged Death deck, but I added in a card recently. literally like 5 minutes before I did this part of the video. So most of the cards are going to be the same. You still have Call the Weak. This is going to be your first card picked up when you put a point into Agility, because all these cards are either Agility or Agility Vitality, except for one, and that's the new one, which we're going to talk about. Because like I said, if you want to know more about this deck, I'll do a quick rundown of it, but if you want to know more about it, go look up the Revenant video. You have Call the Weak for your first card, so you can have something to help you with your farm. Nitro Boost, you pick this up probably second. Gives you some extra power and the ability to sprint every 12 seconds. Guard Piercer is a big one because basic armor penetration is great for Sparrow. She hits hard and fast if you play this right. Next up, Overclock Droid. Attack speed and power, and also gain attack speed in a Berserk mode. Swamp Stalker, again, attack speed, basic power, and bonus damage when you have no allies nearby, which is not going to happen too often considering you're the carry, but it does happen sometimes. Numbing Rogue, health and basic armor, slows attack speed of enemies nearby. This does not stack with anything, so. Deathcrawler, 28 power, 24 basic armor, lowers your attack speed, but you hit like a bus every 5 seconds. I'm going to hit a little faster because mine is actually level 5 and I do this with AI. But this is what you'll see if you play against people. Shatter Golem, again, power. This is more attack speed, and you have a 1 in 5 chance of double damage. And then Vampiric Blade, again, power, attack speed, health, and you have some good lifesteal and some even insane lifesteal if you activate Overflowing Feast, which I probably will because Sparrow needs health. Now the card I haven't talked about is the big one. The new one. 7,000 gold for this, for the Hellfire engine. Combustible, that is the unique effect of the Chaos cards. It's unequipped on death, but you gain 100 basic attack damage. Let me say that again. For as long as you have the Hellfire engine equipped and you're alive, you gain 100 damage. For Sparrow, that's insane. You will be melting people before they can ever get near you. You really want to pick this up late game once your team has realized, hey, we need to protect the Huntress over there. Yeah. Hellfire Engine. That's the new card. It's a little nuts, but I'm willing to risk it. Anyway, gems, basically the same. Auto health potion for healing. Wealthy for some extra gold because you need to get your cards up, especially if you want to go for that Hellfire Engine. Multi-shot. This is why I don't like Sparrow's ultimate very much, because I have this already. These deal more basic damage. They don't scale up, or they don't gain extra percentage, but they do scale up with your attack damage. So this is multi-shot is why I'm not a huge fan of Inner Fire. Then you have critical hits, just some power, health regen for critical hit chances. Armored, get a shield after being out of combat for 10 seconds, not bad. And damage return, returns some basic damage to enemies. Alright folks, like I said, this was just a quick rundown because I've used this deck before. Once I get into the repeating decks, I'll do quick rundowns like that. I'll see you guys on the other side with the match. Don't go anywhere. And we are in. Like I said, you're going to pick my ranged death deck. Pick my first point in agility. Put my Call the Weak on my 3rd slot. We're going to go ahead and jump out. Sparrow's got a very fancy way of jumping out. I decided to switch my outfit for this one. And like I said, for my first ability, pick up Relentless. So I'll deal an additional, once I hit something 5 times, I'll deal an additional 10% damage. That goes up as we level up Relentless. Let's see. In this lane, with the enemy team we're facing, we're going to be facing off against Fang Mao. Sparrow's actually got a pretty good range if you look at that, because I can hit, from back here I can hit that wall. Just barely. Use your range to stay out of danger with Sparrow, especially early on, because early on Sparrow has very little kill potential and is all about maximizing your farm. A Fae is a great person to be paired with as Sparrow, especially because she can, with her crowd control abilities, she can usually keep the enemy back, allowing you to fire off for like what I was doing and just hit from a good distance. Also, you might notice occasionally the minions' health bars going red. That means they're within lethal range. Fang Mao is going to retreat because we didn't give him a choice, which means we're going to go ahead and put some. Normally, I don't advocate this, but with Sparrow, put pressure on the tower early. We're also going to be maxing out the agility stat so that I can get more damage. And also so that I can get closer to the multi-shot that I need. That roar you just heard a second ago was the Fang tube spawning. Alright, since we're facing Fang Mao, I feel safe enough. I'm going to go and get a hail of arrows. Because Fang Mao has a good initiation, so I don't necessarily need to get my long distance shot on him. I'm going to go ahead and use hail of arrows there. Especially because the Fae has a lot of good. Another reason to take Hail of Arrows with a Fae as your teammate, as your lane partner, as opposed to Piercing Shot, is because the Fae has a lot of good AoE that slows or keeps an enemy in place. So it's actually a lot easier for the Fae to set you up with good Hail of Arrow shots. Now again, Hail of Arrows is not a super lethal ability, but it is a great harass tool. Alright, level 3, second point in Relentless. And I can now do up to 20% damage. Go ahead and fire off a hail of arrows there. It will hurt him a little bit, but it's not going to kill him. He did manage to get away. Now if I had Piercing Shot, I might have been able to make a case of going after him, but I didn't, and I didn't want to, so... Again, remember that as Sparrow, you have no mobility skills, so you want to be careful about your positioning. You'll notice I'm actually pretty far over. I'm only slightly into the tower's range, and I'm far away from the jungle, because I don't want their Gruks to be able to just come stomping out of there and smack me. Alright, I'm actually going to stick around, because I can do that. Now I can head back and pick up Nitro Boost. And in fact, I'm probably going to very soon. I am now hidden in the Shadow Plane. I'm actually going to head all the way to left lane to help out our Steel, who's having a bit of an issue. Granted, up against Twin Blast Muriel, Steel should not be doing great. Actually, I'm going to stop here. That gets me Piercing Shot. There you see me shooting it through terrain. I'm not doing this to kill anybody, I'm doing this to distract them. I wanted to give my Steel time to retreat. Alright, here, since I don't have the option to pick up Relentless, I'm actually going to pick up another point in Hail of Arrows. Again, I could have picked up Inner Fire, which is my ultimate, but like I've said, with my build, I don't actually use Inner Fire very much, so even having it on my bar is not very useful. I do like the fact that the game now actually tells you also if you're out of range. Crap. With Gadget here, I need to retreat, because she can do shit like that. Like I said, though, I'm actually going to go ahead and head back. Fang Mao's coming in, but he's not going to be able to get to me in time. Now, I was going to take Nitro Boost, but because I've got enough, I'm going to take Guard Piercer instead. And then head right back into lane. I do like the new HUD for playing. Although as I mentioned in one of the, I think it was last week's cast video. The placement of the gems kind of blocks a little bit of the cards, which I'm not a fan of, but not a huge deal. Alright, this time I'm actually going to commit. I want Feng Mao dead. I don't think I'm going to get it, though. Oh, actually I am. Third point in Relentless. Now, what I just did there with that commitment, I don't recommend doing. I only did that because I knew I could do it, and I'm against AI. If you're against players, don't do that. Alright, put a second point here into Piercing Shot. You'll notice I'm attacking much quicker now. And it's only going to get faster when I really start pumping points into this. But yeah, that right there, where I'm doing like 81 damage, the only reason I'm able to do that is because I've got those points in Relentless. He overcommitted and paid for it. I'm going to pick up my final point in Relentless, and then I'm going to head back now that I've got 4 more points to spend in my agility. Now, all I did here was pick up Nitro Boost. I'm actually going to head over to left lane because one thing about being a carry, especially here in normally as a carry, you want to stay in your lane, you want to stay in your assigned lane for a huge chunk of the game to maximize your farm. In Paragon, you can do that, or you can do this and be useful. Because eventually, kill gold or last hit gold, not super useful. Kill gold, on the other hand, always useful. Especially, Twin Blast committing his ultimate there is not a great idea, because I can just, especially once he turned in and started firing at steel. Here I'm shifting into mid lane because they've got there's some good kill potential here. Back, I'm gonna pick up Muriel. I'm gonna pick up my 3rd point at this level into Rain of Arrows. And there, now have a multi-shot. As I've said before, you don't want to overcommit as Sparrow because you don't have the mobility to escape anybody. On the other hand, if somebody is willing to commit like Gadget just did against me, like you saw there, she's probably going to pay for it because Sparrow does one thing. She melts people. We're going to swap out Nitro Boost for Swamp Stalker. Because you see there, I can actually fire almost fast enough to outpace my multi-shots. You saw me using Rain of Arrows there for a second so that I could actually get some space between Gadget, Chimera, and myself. You want to use Rain of Arrows mostly as a spacing tool due to the fact that, like I said, it doesn't do a huge amount of damage. Right now it does, 363.851 ability damage. That is damage over time though, so that is not 363 damage per second for 4 seconds. That is 363 damage divided by 4 per second. Yeah, if you can, when Twin Blast uses his ultimate like that, line of sight him. That was mostly luck on my part. The first shot, not so much. The fact that he stuck around after I hit him with it was luck. Finish off piercing shot. Now the only skill points I'm going to have left are for inner fire. As I've said before, inner fire is not a bad ultimate. It's just bad for my playstyle. At this point, you can kind of see just how quickly Sparrow can destroy things. This is when she starts to come into her own, when you start getting to this point. The game's been going for just under 20 minutes. And I'm sieging an inhibitor solo. It's already below half health. I have to run because I'm going to die here. Makes it use Rain of Arrows as a spacing tool. Alright, we're going to take off Swamp Stalker, and I'm actually going to pick up Shatter Golem for this one. The reason I pick up Shatter Golem as opposed to Death Crawlers, because as you see, Sparrow, a lot of her damage output comes from how fast she can attack, and I can do this. I can attack incredibly quickly at this point with Sparrow. There's maxed out agility, so I can attack slightly faster. Start putting points into Vitality second, so that I can start getting towards the Vampiric Blade. There you go. You see me dying once. That is my first death. But, and I fully expected to die there, but I did manage to take out another person with me. So that is a very good deal. Alright, it's time to take off Call of the Week, and we're going to put on Overclock Droid for now. Actually, I'm going to swap it and Shatter Golem so that I've got Frenzy on my number 1. Alright, here, what you're going to see here in just a second is I'm actually going to activate my ultimate. I'm actually going to use Inner Fire. There, you see me using it. And while I admit, like I said, it's not a terrible ultimate. It's just not how I play normally. It is good for occasionally melting people. Again, that's what Sparrow does, eventually. Alright, this is going to be the final recall. I'm going to head back, take off Overclock Droid, take up Vampiric Blade. By this point, the only way I can make this build any stronger would be to save up 7,000 gold and take the Hellfire engine. I'm probably not going to do that right now because that is an extreme commitment that my team doesn't really need. Also because if you're familiar with Dota 2, the Hellfire engine is a lot like the Divine Rapier, except that when you die, it goes away. It doesn't stick around. And remember, shoot the medic first. And here I'm going to activate Vampiric Blade, just start shooting, or just keep shooting really, and all of a sudden I'm back to basically full health, because of just how much raw damage Sparrow can do. Alright. Hope you guys enjoyed this, because that is my basic build for Sparrow. The Hellfire engine is kind of a hit or miss idea. You don't have to use it if you don't want to, of course, just like any of the items I show you. But that is how you basically play Sparrow. Remember, you don't want to overcommit because you have absolutely zero way to escape with her. You don't want to miss your shots, so get good at aiming. I was doing pretty bad there for a bit. And like I've said before, I don't really favor her ultimate that much. Just because it's not really my playstyle. If you like having that and don't want to use the multi-shot too much, go for it. This is just my build for Sparrow. But I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like or favorite the video. You can also leave a comment down below if you have anything you'd like to say. And if you want to keep up with me and never miss any of my current series, please be sure to click the subscribe button down below or the icon at the end of the video. Join me next week for the next episode of War of the Exemplars. But as for that, folks, I have been D, and we've just seen the rise of the Rogue Huntress. So good night, and good gaming.